Hey everyone, welcome back to another Q&A session where you ask the questions and I answer them. Thank you to everybody that did post a question on the channel, appreciate it. We got some cool questions to get through, so let's get cracking. So our first question is from Tennessee Broncos 84. He asks, if you could only have one RC, what scale and model would it be and why? He also says, love the videos, keep up the good work. Thank you very much, appreciate it. So it'd probably be my 1/10 scale, if you can call it that, FMS FJ40. I absolutely love that thing. I love the way it moves. I love that kind of old school wafty suspension feel you get. I mean, it's not the most capable by any means, but that's kind of part of the fun, to be honest, in how much of a challenge it is. I absolutely love taking it to events and stuff like that. And to be honest, it is normally my go-to rig when I get to events. Like, that's the one I want to run because I just enjoy it so much. I've been considering chucking a brushless system in it as well to see if we can make it more capable. And yeah, just give it a bit more wheel speed. I'd really love to fit a 2-speed as well, because I think that would be absolutely awesome. If anybody's got any suggestions of a 2-speed that will drop into the FMS FJ40, then drop me a comment below because I would love to know. Otherwise, I'm just thinking maybe a Fusion SC, give it a bit more punch and a bit more go in it. So our next question is from Alid Arido. Hope I got that right. He says, for whatever scale it is, have you considered building a rig from scratch or from spare parts? He also says, thanks for making very informational and entertaining videos. He's enjoyed every single one. Thanks very much. I do really appreciate it. It's really good to get feedback from people that, you know, they are enjoying the videos. So yeah, thank you very much. So in regards to building something from scratch or from spare parts, I mean, I have built some kits, like I built my Tamiya truck. You know, that was obviously a kit build. So, you know, you build it kind of from scratch. I also do really want to build my own 8x8. I talked about it, I think, on the last Q&A session. It's definitely something I want to do. I'm still gathering parts. I've got already a chassis that I can hopefully use, which will hopefully give me enough size for an 8x8. I'm just trying to work out what axles to use and stuff like that. I'm thinking about just going a single brushless motor now, just to make it a little bit easier, at least for, like, you know, V1. So yeah, that's something that is going to be coming to the channel hopefully pretty soon. I'm also going to have coming up on the channel soon, I have actually got a Boom Racing Land Rover. I think it's a Series 1 or a Series 2. So obviously that is a scratch build. You know, again, it's a kit, but you've obviously got to build it. So that will be coming on the channel soon as well. So I'm really looking forward to building that. I just need to get some time to do it because it's going to be a pretty involved build. Hope that answered your question. So next question is from Alex Barnes. He says, have you considered any green alternatives, the WD-40 or GT85? He said after some searching on the internet, he's discovered something called Gardenol, which sounds like an eco-friendly version to WD-40. I mean, to be honest, I don't even bother using it anymore. I actually found, to be honest, that just making sure the rig was really dry after running it in the mud and the water was actually far more beneficial. You know, even when you have GT85 and everything like that on your rig, you know, it comes off so quickly once you start running it through mud and water. Water's, you know, not too bad, but with the mud, obviously, it kind of is abrasive, so it kind of just rubs it all off. And I definitely found, since I started using like the air blower, I got this little GT Power air blower, and making sure like everything was dry and all the little nooks and crannies after you've done a good like wet muddy run, that the bearings and everything seem to be lasting a lot longer. And when I've been servicing my rigs, I'm noticing that everything's not getting so crusty around at the diffs and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, no, I haven't really looked at an alternative. I just don't bother using it anymore, to be honest. I just basically run them raw, and then I just make sure that I clean them and dry them off after each run. So hopefully that answers your question. For a bit of context on that question, basically I commented before that I didn't use the GT85 anymore in my rigs because I didn't like the fact that it seemed like it was coming off when I was running my rigs through the water and the mud. And yeah, to me, it just didn't seem right. You know, I love going to the woods and stuff like that and having the ability to run my rigs. And I thought, well, I don't really want to be the person that's polluting it. So yeah, I stopped using it. So that's what it relates to. But yeah, cool question, and sounds interesting what you have found. So next question is from Lethe. They said, what is your most recent build? Well, I mean, it would probably be my TRX4M LCG build that I did with Wayne from Talbot RC, which is basically like an Endura build. It's like brushless LCG chassis, loads of brass, which, you know, it was all right. But I mean, if you're new to the channel or if you're not, I'm not a fan of the TRX4M, to be honest. I just find it a bit of an annoying rig to use. So I would probably say my most recent build that I actually really enjoyed would be my FCX18 farm truck. Again, did a build off with Wayne from Talbot RC and Adam from Cape Crawlers. absolutely awesome time building it. And yeah, farm truck is pretty much one of my favorite rigs to run. I just love the way it looks. Yeah, it's just really, really cool with all the chickens in the back and everything. I do really want to do like a 10th scale farm truck. I'm very tempted to do a build on my RC 4-wheel drive K10 Scottsdale. I just can't, I haven't been able to bring myself to paint it and just, yeah, make it look a mess when it's so shiny and clean. But yeah, that's something I do want to do as a 10th scale farm truck. I think it'd be really, really cool. So next question is from 4x4 RC Adventure. They've asked, aside from Endura and the FMS website, where is the best place to buy upgrades for the FCX18? So one thing I would say to bear in mind with that is the FCX18 actually shares the same axles and the same gearbox with the FCX24. So any upgrades you could get for the FCX24 in relation to complete axles or just portals or like a different gearbox, they would be the same for the FCX18. I would say another company that's worth looking at is RC All-Wheel Drive. I think they do some really nice parts. They are a bit more expensive than Endura, but they do some really nice all-metal axles. I do have a discount code for RC All-Wheel Drive as well. I can't remember if it's 5 or 10%, but it is in the description. So, you know, if you want to check them out, that might be worth a punt. I would also suggest, to be honest, if you're willing to take a risk, sometimes it's really worth looking what's on AliExpress. I actually bought some portal axles and stuff like that before for my FCX18 on AliExpress, and they were actually decent. They fitted absolutely fine. I'm pretty sure companies like Trial would do upgrades as well, but obviously they're a lot more pricey. So yeah, I would suggest basically FMS, Enduro, which you already know, RC All-Wheel Drive is definitely worth checking out. And then I would just have a look on like AliExpress, and you know, it's just if you're happy to take the risk on those cheaper parts, but sometimes it can pay off. Hope that helps. So next question is from The Invented. They've asked, what are the best TRX4M upgrades to get? Now, as you probably know, I'm not a massive fan of the TRX4M, to be honest, but it depends what you want to use it for. If you're rock crawling, I would definitely suggest you want a bit of brass low down and up front. So maybe some diff covers, so maybe some brass knuckles, maybe even some like slightly heavier wheels. Stock tires are actually pretty decent, but you know, normally on any rig, the first thing I change is the wheels and tires because, you know, there's normally better options out there. I think it's overgeared and the stock electronics aren't great, so if you can spend the money, I would definitely say a brushless system is a worthwhile upgrade. Depending on what you go for, you're going to probably have to change the radio gear as well, but I appreciate that's throwing a bit of money at it, but you know, a bit of weight and a brushless system, it'll be a completely different crawler. Still a TRX4M, but it will be a completely different crawler. I personally am a fan of portal axles. So on my F-150 mud truck build I did, I actually fitted the RC all-wheel drive portal axles, gave me lots more ground clearance, loads more weight down low as well. And then yeah, low range gears to give it better slow speed control. And then yeah, I would say brushless system. But anyway, hope that helps. I would definitely recommend checking out Adam from Cape Crawlers. I mean, he's done loads of awesome TRX4M builds. I mean, I would say he's probably one of the leading channels out there when it comes to mini crawlers. You know, his stuff is absolutely fantastic. He's got loads of videos on like budget builds and stuff like that. I do actually have a $100 budget build on my channel as well for the TRX4M, so you're welcome to check that out. But yeah, I would definitely say it's worth checking out Adam from Cape Crawlers as well. But anyway, I hope that helps. Lots of waffling, sorry. So next question is from Blue Coyote RC. They've asked, what advice would you give for somebody who's looking to get into competition crawling and what platform would you use? To be honest, I haven't done any competition crawling. I've been to lots of events and I've seen other people do comp crawling, you know, and people will use things like Vanquishes. I got to make Mike from RC Pie. He actually uses a cheaper Endura build that he did. And I think he actually did pretty well with that on some of the competitions he was doing at the UK Scale Nationals. So yeah, I mean, it depends how much money you want to throw at it and what class you're doing. Depending on where you are, there's different classes. In the UK, I think there's like 3 different classes, whether you're running like, you know, a scale hard body or whether you're running like a full kind of comp rig. So yeah, it really depends on what class you're looking to enter. If I was going to do competition crawling, I would probably want to do a scale rig, to be honest, because I would enjoy the challenge. So I would potentially use something like, I don't know, maybe a Vanquish chassis with a hard body on it. But even things like, you know, some of the elements, you know, they're pretty capable, especially at the box, and they're obviously a bit cheaper. I've seen some people even using Charisma SCA 1Es, which seems mental considering how big the diffs are on those things. But yeah, I've seen people running them and it was just like, how is that thing doing so well? But yeah, unfortunately, I can't really give you any like decent advice, to be honest, because it's not something I've done. I would probably suggest having a look if there's any like Facebook groups and stuff like that, and seeing what other people are running for the different kind of classes and the class that you're looking to run. But I hope that was helpful. Probably not, but sorry, I haven't got much experience. So next question is from Bruce Cofferson. He asks, can you make a Discord account? To be honest, it's not really something I've got time to do. I mean, I appreciate some people run like Facebook groups and stuff like that, but you know, I barely get time to record these YouTube videos, to be honest, let alone actually like run like a Discord group or, you know, a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group or something like that. So yeah, I don't really have time, to be honest. You know, I really enjoy replying to people's comments on YouTube, you know, and that's one of the things I like is that community. But, you know, I wouldn't have time to get involved in like all that other stuff as well. Otherwise, I'd never be able to actually create any content for anybody to actually be able to watch. So next question is from FMS RC. So they ask, what rig in your collection gets the least amount of love and why? I mean, I've got a fair few rigs in my collection, so it is hard to have the time to actually run them all. But I would probably say, to be honest, it's the war rig. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but obviously on the screen, I'll put something up so you can see it. When I saw this thing for sale before, I was just like, oh man, that just looks awesome. I'm a massive Mad Max fan, so I was just like, yes, I need to get that. And it looks amazing, but underneath, you know, it's not the best in terms of like the mechanics and how it actually performs. And the problem is, I didn't build it. So as much as it looks awesome, you know, whenever I run it or I video it or stuff like that, of course, everyone's like, oh, you know, how did you build it? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, I didn't, you know, and I don't want to feel like I'm taking credit for somebody else's creation. And it kind of puts me off running it. That might sound a bit weird, but, you know, I would rather run something that I've actually put some work into, even if it was just an RTR and I've chucked some accessories and things like that. At least I've given it my style, you know, given it's my character, whereas obviously with this it's completely built by somebody else, so I don't know, it just feels a bit weird when I run it. And I don't know if you get that or if anybody else gets it. Drop a comment below and let me know if you do. But yeah, I don't know, it just feels a bit weird. It doesn't help that I broke it last time I ran it as well. I was running it through some mud and the drive shaft just completely snapped in half, and since then it's just kind of sat there on the side and not got any love. So yeah, that would probably be the least loved rig in my collection considering how cool it is. So yeah. So the next question is from TJ Garage. They've asked, how are you able to build your channel so big with so few videos? And they said they've got a similar amount of videos possibly, but you know, nowhere near the same subscriber count. What tips do you have? I mean, to be honest, what I would say is, you know, a lot of YouTube is getting discovered and, you know, putting the best content out that you can that people want to watch. I appreciate like videos like this, you know, they're not going to get massive amount of views, but this for me is more about connecting with my audience and the community. So, you know, I'm happy with that. But I would say basically, you know, you want to look at your videos and see what are other people doing in a similar kind of video style to you. Like if you only do running videos, you know, look at your running videos, watch them back, and then watch a channel that is being successful. So, you know, somebody like RC Playground or Emotional RC or Hoons RC or somebody like that, and be like, right, okay, well, what are they doing differently to me? And look at the videos that have views and the videos that don't. What's the difference? Is maybe the intro boring? I mean, realistically, for a long form video, you've probably got like 10 seconds to capture an audience and get them to actually want to continue watching. If they've lost interest within the first 10 seconds to 30 seconds, they're gone. They're not going to come back. Whereas if you can kind of captivate their interest at the very beginning, then hopefully they're going to stick around to watch the rest of the video. To be honest, YouTube is a pretty brutal space, I would say. There's so many content creators now that, you know, the competition is huge, and everybody's a YouTuber now, so, you know, myself included. But yeah, it is a lot harder to compete. So you do really need to be looking at your content and thinking to yourself, right, what could I do to improve my content? One thing I always did was that I tried to improve on every video. So I'd record a video and then I would watch it back and be like, right, what didn't I like about that? What didn't I think was good? Right, how can I improve on that on the next video, and then the next video, and then the next video, and just keep trying to improve. In terms of growth, I would say one of the quickest ways to grow your channel is YouTube Shorts. I would say that can have a really negative effect on your channel as well, and I've got first-hand experience of that. You know, I've grown my channel through long form and through short form, but the downside with the short form is the type of people you are bringing to your channel obviously have potentially a short attention span because they're interested in shorts versus long form. So if you are going to do short form content, you really need to try and find a way that the short form is almost like a trailer for your long form content. So people might be interested and then they'll actually watch your long form content off the back of that. But otherwise, I would say just, just try and keep regularly posting, be as regular as you can, be as consistent as you can. Do community posts, try and engage with the people that are, following you or get new followers that way. And just remember, it's more about quality than it is quantity. You could have a channel that's knocked out 10,000 videos, but if they're not very good, no one's going to watch them and they're not going to grow. Whereas you could have a channel that did 5 videos and they were like the best thing since sliced bread. And as long as it gets discovered and people watch it, obviously it's going to blow up, and those 5 videos are going to get huge views. Now, I'm by no means an amazing YouTuber or anything. There's far better channels out there than me. If you just look at some other people's thumbnails and their titles and everything, they're really, really good. And I completely appreciate, to be honest, that I could probably get way more views if I was to be a bit more kind of like, well, the whole clickbait titles and the really like silly faces of like, oh my God, that's the best thing since sliced bread kind of thumbnails. But I'm not really interested in doing that. I don't particularly want to just shout at you constantly either. There's plenty of channels out there that are doing that, and that's not my cup of tea, to be honest. I'd rather just be me, do the stuff that I enjoy, hopefully make entertaining videos that people enjoy. And, if that means I don't get as many views as some other channels that are in your face and all that, then, so be it. But yeah, just basically do the best you can, try and learn from other channels and just try and improve with each video and, see what works, experiment, try some different video styles and stuff like that. Is one more successful than the other? If you're filming with the camera in a certain particular angle, watch it back and be critical. Does it actually look good? Maybe try a different camera angle for your next video. Does that get better retention and stuff like that? Yeah, just experiment and play with it. Don't just keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect to get different results. But that was a bit of a long waffle, but hopefully you got some useful information out of that. So next, we've actually got a few questions from SUV Steve. First one being, what is your favorite scale? I really like 10 scale. I think it's a nice, happy medium. It's a really good size that you can take on loads of terrain. You can go out in the woods and there's loads of obstacles you can take on. You can get over most things. And you don't have to break the bank. You don't have to buy like £1,000 SCX6 or something like that. And to be honest, with some of the bigger ones, it can kind of lose the fun because everything's just easy. So yeah, 10th scale is definitely my favorite. After that, I would probably say mini crawlers. I do really like the 18th scale. I enjoy the flexibility and just, the freedom of just going outside in your back garden and doing a bit of crawling. But 10th scale would definitely be my go-to scale. Next up, he asks, any advice for us newish RC content creators? He said he's just hit 1,000 subs. Congratulations, it is a milestone. I mean, I remember that first 1,000 subs, to be honest. It almost feels like the hardest number to hit. Once you hit 1,000, you'll probably find it'll just start rolling and the numbers will just grow and grow and grow. So yeah, well done. It is a really good achievement. You should be proud of yourself. Tips, similar to what I was talking about earlier, really. Have a look at your content, see what you could do differently. Try experimenting, try some different things, Is there maybe a different style that works a little bit better depending on what type of content you're creating? If it's just running content, then I would say really in the first kind of 30 seconds, you need to captivate the audience. So what I generally do on like my running videos, if you look from my channel, all my playlists, there's quite a lot of running videos that I've done over time. And what I'll try and do is the first 30 seconds is highlights from the rest of the video. So what do I think are probably the best bits from the video, just like 5-second snips. So effectively, you've kind of teased the audience to say, like, this is what's coming up in the video, like a trailer. And then hopefully it makes them want to keep watching. RCs is a hard niche, to be honest. People like Kevin Talbot, Tomley RC, they've been doing it for years. They've built up that audience over years. And obviously now they are making captivating content that, just keeps people watching. But when you're a smaller channel, you've got a lot of channels to compete with. And, it is a much smaller niche that not everybody's interested in. My other few tips would be decide on a schedule that you are happy to post and then try and do that as consistently as you can, but make sure you do a schedule that works for you so you're not pushing yourself too hard. I would also do community posts, engage with your existing subscribers and your viewers, you know, ask them what they'd like to see, maybe do some polls. You know, it's a great way to engage with people. I mean, I love taking pictures. It was one of the things I started doing before I got into like videography. So yeah, for me, I really enjoy taking a picture and doing a community post. And it's really nice to see the kind of feedback it gets. But yeah, think about how you can just engage with your audience more. And the main thing, to be honest, is just enjoy it. If you're not enjoying it, then is there any point in really doing it, you know? But yeah, anyway, I hope that helps on the YouTube advice. And then his last question is, what is the best diameter tyres for the FCX 18 K10? To be honest, I would say about 64 mil. I really like the little guy racing parts tyres. They're normally about 63 mil, or like the Swamp Claws from Enduro that you can get in 64 mil. I think once you go over that size, you're going to start getting body rubbing issues and stuff like that, especially on full lock, which really then is hindering your crawling ability. Smaller, I think, doesn't really suit the scale of it, especially on the K10. So yeah, I really like the 64 mil. I think they're a brilliant size for it. I think they look really nice on it, even if you're running a 1-inch wheel, and you still have plenty of body clearance. I don't have any rubbing issues, I don't think, with my 63 mil little guy racing parts tyres on my K10 farm truck. So yeah, that would be my choice, to be honest, is 64 mil. But yeah, so I hope that helps. So before we wrap up the video, there may still be time to get some tickets for the Traxxas TRX4M. You can get a brand new one, Bronco or Defender, your choice of colour, literally £1 a ticket, which is about $1.30. So yeah, if you haven't already entered, then check out the raffle link in the description if you do want to win yourself a brand new Traxxas TRX4M. Also still got the cash raffle going, £250, which is like $315. Last time I looked, there was only 57 tickets sold. So you got a 1 in 57 chance at the moment, or 1 in 58 once you buy one ticket. I'm amazed, to be honest, not that many people have bought tickets for it. I mean, you know, you could buy something better than a TRX4M with that money. $315, another $15, you could get like an actual base temp. But anyway, link in the description if you do want to take part in the cash raffle. Thank you to everybody that did post a question. Really appreciate it. I really enjoy this style video. Give me a like if you enjoyed it and if you're enjoying this type of content as well. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.